Hello, everyone, and welcome to another special spooky episode of the StudioMEcast. As you know, we are conjoining with the Horror Sci-fi Pittsburgh 48-hour film project to do this special series of episodes leading up to the Best of screening and awards night on the 29th of October. We are interviewing members from the teams that are going to be featured at that evening's festivities, and we hope to see you there. You can get your ticket in the description below. And today, we have Impaled Films with their film Fool with Liz Tripoli and Andrew Lasswell. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having us. Thank you.
Absolutely. So, Andrew, writer, director, lead actor. Liz, writer and assistant director as well. Why don't we start with, as we know, the requirements for the 48 this time around for the horror sci-fi, where you need to use an adhesive bandage as your prop. Thank you, lawyers. And we also needed to use the line of dialogue, "I learned this secret long ago." And we needed a character who was a skater whose name was Sean or Shonda. Last name? Taker, that's right. Yes, I've seen a bunch of them, but still, excuse me. But each film, of course, the wild card is that they each get a couple of genres to pick from that are different from the other teams. So what genres did you pick? What did you draw from your film?
I forget what the other one is. I know that's...
the other one, the sci-fi one was Alien.
Yeah.
You get one from each category, a horror genre and a sci-fi genre, and then the team is obligated to use one or the other, or try to combine both. It just has to be obvious that at least one of them is definitely the genre you went with.
We sort of got a lucky / unlucky draw, as that in our minds we were like, he is a very talented person in general. He does music, he does this, he does that, he does sideshow work, and he has friends who are clowns, not like come to your birthday party, kind of thing, but like sword swallowing and actually talented. So he was, had his clown friends ready to want to do this show, and we're like, well, let's find out which genre we get, and guess what we got?
Yes, we got
clowns.
We got clowns.
It
was just meant to be,
well,
wasn't it? That's wonderful. While I was watching your film, I was like, did they just have these guys ready? Or did they just scramble and scrounge around and get all this clown stuff together? But that's cool that you had that ready to go, just in the chamber, which is a safe bet too, because horror, it's clowns can be integrated into almost any horror genre. So that's but it just ended up lining up really well. Did that make it more difficult for you to come up with something that sort of put less of a direction on where to go?
Well, it opened us up, in a way, and completely scuttled, our initial approach idea. Like Liz says, we were going to have these clowns are the only actors that I had, established, solicited the support of, and I told them to bring clown clothes and not clown clothes, and we'll see what we come up with. And our idea initially was, whatever genre we get, the clowns are the people who are going to suffer the horror. Invert it. Here's your regular clown life. You're doing your regular clown things, and now here comes some normal person coming in and trying to normal the place all up, and this is the most terrifying, horrible thing a clown could possibly imagine. But we got legit the clown horror genre, which suggested to us that the clowns had to be the sources of horror and not the victims. But since we had the clowns and it was clown horror, well, we could do just about any kind of clowny story, as long as the clowns are somehow evil or disquieting or something like that. But yeah, if we had one of the other genres, the clowns are just going to be a super big bonus.
Yeah.
Awesome. So altogether, about how many people did you have on your team?
12, I think, in all.
I was trying to count them in the picture in my head.
Yeah. There were six clowns in the film.
Yeah.
And those are the only actors. I mean, not everybody starts out as a clown.
No, right. And then we had a PA and sound guy, cameraman, and Keegan as
camera.
assistant, and so yeah, that's about a dozen.
And
So we had about a dozen people on your team. That's great. So you both had the hands in writing this film. How long did the writing process take? When were you done with it, and what did it look like? Were there other people in the room as well? How did the script come to be?
Two
in the morning Friday,
something like that.
2 or 3 Friday night, and the only other person there was the invocation of my partner and our dear friend Amy, who when we did the 48 in May of this year was there, like not so much like interjecting ideas, but just trying to keep us on track.
Yeah, she's the wrangler. We're the talent that gets off on little spurs here and there, but that's kind of how we work. So she keeps us wrangled in.
So we pretended that she was there, and every once in a while we'll be like, okay, what would Amy say right now?
Yeah.
And then
that's usually her job.
And then it kept us on track. It worked. Even in her presence, it worked.
Yeah.
Well, fantastic then. So when did you start shooting?
This Saturday noon, 1.
Yeah,
Ooh,
I think about
like
1.
that. We started.
We were a little late.
We started kind of late.
That's what I've been hearing from a bunch of the teams. A little late, or later than usual, or what they would have wanted. Depends on the team, right?
But it worked out perfect.
So what led to that late start?
It was a late night. Friday night.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the most healthful. Once we we're pretty certain we had the entire story fleshed together. Then it was time for more drinking and babbling until no, oh my gosh, we have to go to sleep now.
Yeah. The red wine starts flowing, and you're like, da 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 da.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we have a thing in the morning. Well, so yeah, but I mean.
Yeah,
it was still creative, so I think it counts.
Hungover skateboarding isn't all that. Fortunately, we did that pretty late in the shoot.
Yeah.
Now, one of the cool things about your film is you have these performers, all right? Stilts, sword swallowing, a bunch of other ones. Go see the film, everybody. Get your tickets. I'm not going to give everything away here. So you had these people on deck, ready to go, right? So they do this outside of the 48, right? Where can we see these performers?
Yeah, a lot of places. Claudette, Sum, she was doing one of the stunts.
Well, first off, real
show.
quick, are they all part of the same group, or do you just know all these individual people separately? How does this
Slippy and Claudette and Lonnie and I work in a show called The Stranger Dangerous Circus Sideshow. Dave and I were together in the 90s as Circus Apocalypse. Anybody that had been to Fright Fest, the Halloween bit down at Station Square for many, many years, and would see the sideshow in the middle of the midway. That was us. And then years later we formed this new show, Stranger Dangerous. Claudette also works with Danger Dave and the Stolen Stitches circus sideshow.
That's what I was trying to think of. That's it.
Yeah. And Charmaine does a lot of independent work. I don't know if she's in a specific named troupe.
No, I don't believe that she is, but she does a lot of work. We were very lucky to actually have a little space that she had before she had to go off and do another show. She's Stilts is very in demand, and but we luckily got her for just a little bit. She also does the cat circus. She worked with the cat circus people, the amazing cats. Oh gosh, I can't remember.
So had these people done a film before?
Not that I know of. I know Dave has definitely been on camera. He's appeared on some of those oddities documentaries and shows. He's been big in the legit traveling circus sideshow circuit. He was for many years, and has himself a fine collection of things in jars.
Things in jars.
Yes.
He's performing right now at the what is it?
The Cannibal Clown Cafe. Yes, that's
in
right.
Southside.
Yeah,
Cafe.
yeah. Slippy the Clown can be seen at the Cannibal Clown Cafe. It's a pop-up in what was the double wide at the corner of 24th and Carson Street.
Yeah, and that seems like a really fun time.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, what's funny is before I ever met him in person, him and Dave would also do they would tour. They toured with the band Pigface, if you are familiar. But I went to see a Pigface show forever ago, and I remember there being 2 clowns there. I remember you doing the hammer trick, I think, into your nose. But it was
Stunned.
years and sorry, stunned. But it was just years and years before I met him. It took forever, and I know him to go, wait a minute, I saw you when I was 21. So it was just a fun thing. They've done a lot of fun things that I'm a little jealous, but it's all right.
21, sure. You snuck in.
That's great. So, well, that's cool that you're bringing a bunch of people into the 48 who otherwise haven't necessarily participated in the past. So it's always great to see that community is growing in Pittsburgh, as well as a lot of teams this year for the horror sci-fi as well. And it's not the biggest city in the world just on terms of scale, right? So you might think that we run into each other a whole bunch. Y'all were filming in Southside, right? Or no?
No.
Okay, I thought you were just your shirts.
My
There are a couple things I'm like, that could be. I don't know. Where were you guys?
We're in Wilkinsburg.
Oh, okay, all right.
And the what used to be the Mr. Roboto project back in the day, way back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, fantastic.
It's
So
a really cool venue.
now
Space.
you had you started shooting around noon. When did you wrap?
7.
Yeah, it wasn't
7
super
or
late.
8.
We got
I think about 8. Yeah, I just remember I had totally failed to provide crafting services for any of the team. I managed to get donuts when I went to a local IGA to try to find a memory card, and everybody was just starving and dying by the time we were there.
Yeah,
and, my son was with me, and I hadn't fed him, and that's my real responsibility, I suppose.
yeah, and he's 75 feet tall, so
Yeah.
I'm sure he requires a lot of food.
A lot of food. We were finally done, wrapped up, out the door, and I couldn't find out how to turn off the lights on the inside of the display display windows. This this shop had display windows, and the lights were on, and none of the light switches that I discovered earlier in the day did anything to this. But fortunately,
It was a fun game figuring out the light switches in that place. They were
at the
not
beginning, yeah.
not what you would assume. Counterintuitive.
Yeah.
But we were trapped there with lights on, and then I called Bob Zeller, the person in possession of the space, and he's like, oh, those are on a timer. I'm like, oh, okay, good. I could just leave.
Yeah.
and try to and escape Wilkinsburg with my broken GPS. With a bunch of clowns in the car.
Yeah, we literally had a clown car.
We had a clown car. There was not an inch of room. Everybody had something on their laps, and possibly a clown with something on their laps.
It was fun.
That's funny. So when you're filming, you have a bunch of these stunts, right, which really help the film stand out. Was there a case where you had to be extra careful while filming these things? I mean, I know these are professionals that do this all the time and all that, but was there hang on, we need you to do that 5 or 8 more times or anything? How did was working with the stunts smooth? That's the question.
It was pretty smooth. The only thing is that generally Claudette does the standing sword, but we realized the room that we had, she would die if she did that. So she had to get on her knees to do it just to be a little safer. But I mean, they really are professionals. They get the shot immediately. They've been doing this a very long time, and it's kind of why we managed to get away with only having between 1 or whatever and 7 to film, because they're just so on it.
So you didn't need a whole lot of takes for that?
No, not for the stunts.
Great.
And the same thing with the fire. We had to put both of those artists on their knees in the floor and the cellar space that we had, because the ceiling was just far too low to do safely for the performer and the venue.
I did try to poison the one clown because we have the fake blood for her, and we were just about to do the scene, and I just randomly I went, "You're not allergic to chocolate, are you?" And she's like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "Oh, we were about to give you chocolate blood because that's like edible blood is made with chocolate."
Yeah.
So always note if you have someone, check for the chocolate allergy.
I can eat fire, but chocolate, no way. It's like,
Well, it's it's your limits.
That's dangerous.
swallow swords, no problem. Chocolate. Yeah,
What are you trying to do? Hurt me?
Yeah, exactly.
The longest take, the shot with the most takes was just one where two characters are trying to hug each other.
Oh yeah, that was the hardest scene.
Yeah.
It was a hug, and then I have a little
And then a
cameo
costume change,
to put
yeah.
like a jacket on him, and it's very difficult to put a jacket on someone against their will. In case you were curious.
Yeah.
I think there's a professional job for that with special jackets. But
Just staples.
straight jacket.
You just throw it over like a James Brown cloak and just staple it on this.
We should have done. We got it way quicker.
We don't have any stapling in this. We have to do this again. Forget it. I'm taking the movie back.
Well, it's clear you had a lot of fun, which is great. So, you wrapped 8 p.m. or so. Tell me about the post-production process for your 48. Did you start editing after? Were you editing as you were filming? How did it go?
Yeah, no, it was all on one computer. So once the memory cards came back, my editor Miguel Segath III showed up. Parked him in the back porch with a low alcohol volume beer. And I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, this is all I got. That's all I got tonight." And then I set him to work. Here's the show. Here's the storyboard or whatever. I need to go sit quietly for a minute. You get started, and then Sunday morning. We got up, made a little food, and got back to editing. I try to find the parts. These are the things that I need. Specifically, zhuzhed up. So clean those up, if you will. And then I think by 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I was ready for the music. To start composing the music.
So you weren't sourcing from a library. You were actually creating the music for this.
Yes, and in order to qualify for the Best Original Music category, 100% of the music in the film must be composed and recorded in that 48-hour time span.
Fantastic. That actually brings me to a question I should have started with. What nominations do you have for this screening coming up?
5. So soundtrack, best costumes and makeup.
Well, best costumes and
best
hair and makeup.
Practical effects and best use of the prop.
Yes,
I believe.
Fantastic.
So, that was fun.
That last one in particular, I've been meaning to say, hilarious. You've got trying to put an adhesive bandage over what you had going on there. I'm just like, this isn't working at all. It's so funny to me. I loved that. It's interesting to see how different teams use the different requirements, the line, the prop, the character and all that, but I really enjoyed how you did that, and that was a lot of fun.
In the spring, we kind of just shoehorned it in. The particular the required elements. None of them were integral to the story. This time we made sure that all of them were integral to the story we were creating, and I felt that the restriction makes you free.
No, you're absolutely right, and it's
pressure
helpful. That's why having clowns as our genre was both wonderful and maybe a little challenging.
Yeah, a bit of that can be difficult to deal with because it sounds counterintuitive, but we sometimes do want those restrictions to help direct where we're going, especially when you have a limited amount of time. Even when you don't have a limited amount of time, I think it was I think David Bowie, for some of his songs at one point, he cut up random words from a magazine, put them in a hat, and then just arranged them with whatever. That's what I heard makes sense to me with some of his songs, but rest in peace, David. But so all right. Tell me a bit more about the composition that you did, like the music for it. What were you working in? How long have you been doing music for your projects? Like, just to give me a little bit of that story.
I grew up, with music. I was, in band. Took piano lessons for many years. I've been, in bands as a pianist and a bass player and a saxophone player and a singer and a writer. So definitely doing a lot of music. The music is how I got roped into the 48 to begin with. Last year at this time, for the horror, I was invited by Experimental Productions to do the music for their horror thing, and they had clown type thing.
Yeah,
for
coincidentally.
That. Yeah, and that was a blast. It was super easy because I was like, here, you're gonna get me a thing at 8 a.m. on Sunday, and I'm gonna give you a thing at like 2 p.m. Sunday, and they're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, that's great. Yeah, that's perfect. At 8 a.m, I got a rough draft of their movie. Went through it scene by scene. Came up with some ideas. Started putting together some recordings and sent them out like 17 tracks at 2 p.m. saying here's where I think they would go. And then when I saw like I didn't get to see any of the production process. I was doing other things that weekend. But then I got to see some of the movies at the showcase, and learned a little bit from the team leads when they were interviewed before their films, and like I could do this. We could do this.
And the year before that, I was in Blue Knight Productions I was acting in that one as their lead, and it was like the same thing. We're like, this looks really cool. I was just the acting part, but I'm like, oh, the rest of this looks fun. So of course he and I, were like, we can do this. We can do this.
And we've written together before. We've put together some sketch comedy, bits. Did I help write any of that Bill Murray stuff? I don't remember.
Yeah. We worked on it together.
Right.
We did a show when Bill Murray was in town called Bill Murray Won't Come to the Show. Because he probably wouldn't come to the show, but sometimes he shows up to stuff. So either way, we were winning. It was a fun show. We met. He does a lot of comedy now, but he mostly at the time did music, and I do comedy, and we've just met at like open mics and just started working together, and we've actually worked on quite a few projects together.
Yeah. So when it came time to like, oh well, I need a writer. Well, of course it's going to be Liz. Liz, you want to do this? You're like, of course I would do. And I'm like, this is great. And then she did it again. We did it again.
And horror's my favorite. It's my genre. So
horror's your favorite genre? All right. Well, that kind of springboards me into the next kind of couple of questions I have, which. Liz first, do you have a favorite clown from cinema?
Ooh.
And you can cheat and say like the Joker or whatever.
Well, no, I hate to. I gotta say, Art from Terrifier is really an excellent clown. There's so many great ones in history, but Art's kind of newer. Just seeing him kind of puts you a little on edge. I don't know if you've seen any of the Terrifier series.
No, I haven't.
He doesn't talk. He's just a really scary clown, and they're kind of like slasher films, which isn't my favorite, but he's incredibly creepy in it. And I think a lot of it comes from clowns that do a lot of miming. That's sort of like Buffy the Vampire Slayer has an episode where they used mime specifically to be sort of this clown character because mimes are so expressive that they are extra creepy in everything that they do is super articulated. So it's sort of that same thing. I don't know. That's why I think of Art first. How about you?
All right.
But no, I don't know that much of the way of horror films or clowns. I was quite moved by Michael Caine's clown disguise in the setting up for the robbery or the burglary scene in the 1972 movie Sleuth.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Let's see.
Okay.
Is that the one where there's that car chase in slow traffic? Am I thinking of that?
No. This is an amazing film in that it's 2.5 hours of just Michael Caine and Laurence Olivier. Yeah. for 2.5 hours.
Yeah,
in a house and like trying to like one up each other with their weird pranks. It's a thriller.
Hang on. Jude Law.
Yeah, they did it.
Right?
Jude Law did the
What,
remake.
they remade Sleuth?
Hey, you didn't know that?
No.
It's Jude Law and I want to say Michael Caine.
It is Michael Caine again.
Michael Caine is the older one then?
Yes.
Yeah.
They switched roles.
Okay, I knew I saw it.
That's
Sorry, I was
clever.
thinking there's a different
Yeah.
Michael Caine movie that. Yeah, no problem. And I thought,
Michael Caine
the
played the
70s,
younger
he's
one.
Younger.
Yeah,
With
then
Laurence
they-
Olivier.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I saw the remake of it with Jude Law and Michael Caine. So
that's
very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well,
But
fantastic.
what were you asking?
Oh, it's his favorite clown, but that's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can get obscure with it. That's cool. It's like, oh, Michael Caine dressed. Yeah, fantastic. So, I'm sorry, I forget if I asked this already. When did you turn your film in? How much time did you have?
Oh goodness! At seven. Okay, the film had to be checksum identified by before 7:30 p.m. on Sunday, and 48 hours and a half, because I started at 7 on Friday. And at 7:19, I've got my thing open and I've got my final thing, and I'm like, okay. It was so easy to put the credits on. I put the credits in a little file. There's a thing. Where is that thing? And 7:22, and I'm Googling, and now I'm watching a video of somebody being like, and then if you just want to check, you just click this button. I don't see that button. I don't see that button. This button is in here. It's 7:25, and I'm like, okay, whatever. We're submitting right now with credits. It's just gonna say the name of the movie and our names at the top, and there you go. And then I'm gonna beg like somebody to like allow me to like put credits on here like properly, because
Well, technically, the credits don't count as part of the film anyway, so it wasn't.
For the runtime.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And they do allow you, if you screw up your credits, at the very minimum, they'll give you the opportunity to have your people be credited by just putting up here is a static image of the people in your movie. We'll show it for you. It fortunately didn't come down to it, but we did legit get it on time by a matter of like 2.5 minutes.
That's how it works.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's how it works.
That's how it works.
Exciting.
Yep.
So, every time anyone does a 48, doesn't matter how far up in industry or independent, whatever they are, every time they do a 48, they come away with something. Sometimes it takes a few days for the dust to settle and to process what that might be that they've learned from it. And sometimes maybe it's just more time in front of or behind a camera or, editing something. But was there anything in particular that each of you, I guess, learned from this horror sci-fi Pittsburgh 48-hour film project in the year 2023?
Who wants to say it first?
You go ahead.
Andrew should do less. Yes.
Yeah,
that
was
fair.
That was
That's
our big.
fair.
He's very talented, and I understand. And it's he wants to do, and he's capable of doing all these pieces
Right.
separately. But when you try to do all of them, what did you
everyone
sleep?
suffers.
15 minutes the entire weekend.
And everyone, every one task suffers at the presence of the other tasks. I try to get it a different director. I try to rope in our dear friend and talented director Joanna Lowe, but she was unavailable for that. I tried to delegate that, but yeah, we will be doing delegation, more next time.
Well, I told him, because we have so many musicians that we know, I was like, well, maybe you could not do the soundtrack. And then, of course, we get nominated, and I'm like...
only reinforcing. Don't encourage it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
like,
well, here's a little prize for your bad behavior.
Yeah.
Don't do it again. That's funny.
The
That's
thing
great.
with
Congratulations again on that.
Thank
That's
you.
wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said that.
The thing with 48, though, teaches everyone repeatedly is how to say it's okay.
Yeah.
How to say it's good enough. Stop. Next thing, okay, we can't, just like a single person taking on a bunch of roles, the time constraints of this effort, everything that you do very, like extra good on. Some other element is going to suffer because it's not going to have the time to maybe even be good. So just being able to be like, no, stop, that's enough, we have it, that's good enough. let's go on. It's a very difficult lesson to learn, and it has to be relearned again, like every time. And I bet you this is across the board for 48, producers.
And in every bit, in the writing, we got to be no, stop. We got to stop.
Yeah.
And edit everything you do. You have to be like, okay, I limit myself, or I'm gonna overexert. So, like you said, you have to relearn the lesson because it's hard not to be a perfectionist about things.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, but that time constraint, is really a big thing, and it's something that I really appreciate too, because when you look at big league film, A-list, whatever, they're always talking about time is money. Every minute is $800 or whatever it is, and it's like, yeah, I mean, we don't even have that kind of pressure when we're doing a 48 necessarily, but it's really incredible to see how people are from idea to completion, what people can do in 48 hours. And it's blown my mind consistently, just what people have been able to accomplish. So it's really cool that I also like when the 48 does these like special genre series that they do, like the horror sci-fi. There's another one somewhere where they're doing just holiday genres, where they say you can do whatever genre you want, but it has to be a holiday film and any holiday you want. You want it to be Valentine's Day, whatever. There's one they're doing that is AI oriented. It's an AI 48. So you have to use AI somehow in your project, which I think is cool, because it's like, something that I say all the time on this podcast is AI's coming. You're not stopping it, but it hasn't destroyed us yet. It hasn't been defined as to how it's going to be used, so it's a good idea for artists and filmmakers to get their hands on this thing and figure out how it can be integrated into our world without destroying it, preferably, So that's a cool thing. But yeah, they're doing a whole 48 series, not in Pittsburgh, at least not that I know of, that's like that. But I'm really excited that the horror sci-fi has gained much more popularity. There were 47 teams this time around, which is great. And the summer one is always popular now, which is also great. Are you going to be doing the next Summer 48? Do you think?
I intend to. I don't know what the dates are yet. I do have a play that I'm going to be in. Closes the week before Millvale Music Festival.
Okay.
Which I'm very happy
That's
about.
very,
I get to do Millvale Music Festival again. Unless the 48's on that, then there's going to be a question. Yeah. So I don't know what the dates are yet. But if I don't have a show already booked now, then we'll definitely be doing the 48 in the spring. It's just too fun, and you end up with a movie. Like I 2 years ago, I never would have been like, "Are you ever going to make a movie?" I'm like, I don't know. Probably not. Yeah.
And I have.
and now I've made 2.
Yeah.
I love it too because it's not an enormous time commitment necessarily. I mean, if you're one of the people who's, organizing it leading up, all right, there is a lot to do there, right, with getting your team together and everything. Absolutely. But it's a lot easier to get people, I think, involved with the 48 because it's just a weekend. And it's also a good feeling because it's just a weekend. And if you made something on that particular weekend that wasn't what you're most proud of or whatever, it wasn't like you spent years polishing a turd, right? It's like it was just 48 hours. It's okay, but it's still incredible what people are able to come up with. So
you're right. Either way, it's a win-win experience.
Yeah.
Because either you make something and you're like, I'm super proud of it, or you make something and you're like, we did that.
Yeah.
And we had a blast
great time doing it.
So that opening song, that I Had a Cooler Weekend Than You song that they were showing at the viewings. It's just spot on. It is brilliant.
It's so good. I always get so hyped up at a screening when they play that.
Yeah.
So, well, that's awesome. Well, I think we're just about wrapping up, but real quick, I want to ask you all about any projects you have going on. I know that, so there's film projects, but I know you both do all kinds of stuff. So before we start recording, Liz, you were talking about a is an escape room series that you're doing. Why don't you take a couple minutes and tell us about that and when and where?
Myself and Lauren Judson have just started recently the Savage Art Escape. And right now, we don't have a designated space, but that's kind of the thing. That's the cool thing about our show is it doesn't have to be. It's portable. We can just take it in places piecemeal and switch it up. And it's not a regular escape room where you just go in and you find the clues and you open 16 locks with 16 keys. A lot of it is much more interactive, and it's performance based. So we usually have at least 2, 3, or more performers, like music, poetry, dance, comedy, and their performance gives you a clue, but also it's like, it's not dinner and a show. It's you get a show and you also get a game with it. So you get to be entertained and you get to entertain yourself. So it is a lot more involving and engaging. Right now we're in the process of trying to get our December date. I don't have it right now, unfortunately, but we are open to doing shows. We can take it to you. So if you had like a business and you were like, I would like to have an escape room come here, it's a good team building exercise, we can just come to your office. We can do it in your, in your conference room. So that's the very cool thing about it.
Fantastic. So. And when it's ready, when you have your December date and all that, where would people be able to find out about that? Do you have a website, social media?
Right now we are, you can find us on Facebook. This is unfortunate because we are literally designing the website this week and I don't have an address for that.
The link will be on Facebook though.
The link will be on Facebook. You're so smart. This is why that's why I work with him. Yes, the link will be on Facebook as soon as we get that together. And it's just been a really fun project to get to do. I've become a game master. I never thought I'd be a game master, but here we are.
It's a wonderful title to have. Yes, absolutely. Welcome to the club. So Andrew, how about you? What do you got going on?
I am in the fortunate position of having a singular focus this fall up until the late November, where I'll be rehearsing and then eventually staging the world premiere of Nancy Nightmare's Fairy Tales. And we do our own censorship here. It's the new play by Jim Schoberg, put on by his outfit, the Rage of the Stage Players. I met them last year and did their fall show. It was Miserable Creatures, a Frankenstein story. I got to play the Dr. Frankenstein himself, and that was a hoot of an amazing, long, funny, violent, brutal.
It was a fun show.
Play. Yeah, it was a fun play. Yeah,
it sounds exciting.
He performed. I was an audience member. I did my part.
You did well.
Thank you.
I remember. I remember not seeing you at all. It was dark. But this year a brand new play. It's about the dreams of a particularly disaffected a school student, just completely put off by the awful people who surround her. But yeah, that's going to be.
So we can all relate.
Yeah, we can. That's going to be at the stage, the Carnegie stage in Carnegie, PA, in November. So yeah, look for that Rage of the Stage show in the fall. I'll be playing the janitor.
Well, fantastic. Well, that's just about our time. Thank you so much for being my guests here at StudioME, and looking forward to the screening on the 29th. Once again, congratulations on your nominations and being up there with everybody. So that's great. And so everybody back home, I've said it before, I'll say it again. In the description, there's a link. Get your tickets. Go out, have a nice night, and have a show. You never know what you're going to get, with a 48 screening. It could be something that you want to bring the kids to or something that you don't want your mom to see. So, who knows? I'll just give you a hint. It's horror, sci-fi. Use your own judgment there. Not for the faint of heart. So,
if it's a baker's dozen of horror movies, would that be a butcher's dozen?
Ooh, I don't know, because we've got that. It
don't
is
encourage me.
13.
Do not encourage him.
13 short films, 13 original short films, all shot here in Pittsburgh for the Horror Sci-Fi Pittsburgh 48-hour film project, and I hope to see you there. Bye-bye. Hey, I hope you enjoyed that episode. If you want to start your own podcast, why wait? Reach out to us at StudioME.me, and I hope you hear me again soon.